Alright, and hello everybody. Today I am going to be doing something a little different today. If you haven't noticed by the title of the video, what I will be doing today is I am going to be reviewing Uncharted 4. It's my first attempt, so I really don't have too much editing techniques or anything like that. I'm just going to be giving you guys a voiceover of the full video. It's just going to be a bunch of short clips that I thought were important to the game, coolest bits, tidbits, stuff like that. So it's not going to be everything, it's just going to be like 5 to 10 minute video. Just sections of the game, basically, that I recorded over. What you're about to see here is actually a glitch, which doesn't happen very often in the game, but happens often enough. Basically, you just get trapped right there if you go that way. You're just stuck. You die. That's it. That's basically what you're doing right here. Just dying. Yeah, that was weird. As of recording this video, I have played Uncharted 4 twice already.
Hey, that was clean laundry. Hey, wash it again.
One of the best things that I can say about this game is just the banner between the characters is 100% authentic. But that's the same with any Uncharted game. It's just fucking brilliant. Probably, I have very few gripes about this game, other than it seems like they dumbed down the combat a bit for other people. Shooting mechanics are the same, but there's less intricacies as far as like fighting and punching. You'll spend most of your time shooting. I found myself very small percentage of the time actually punching people and fighting them in a realistic sense, like you would in the other games where you would just try and run up to them and beat the fucking shit out of them. So that was a little different in this game, but as you can see, as you can see, graphics are brilliant. That's with any Uncharted or Naughty Dog game. They're gonna be fucking 10 out of 10.
Yeah, we'll be out of your way in a second. See that truck get past that? That's good. Come on! Come right! Wait, don't worry, I got this.
But one of the best things about this game is just how fluid everything seems to feel once you're doing it. Like this part right here. Everything seems to just go together. It doesn't feel forced or rushed or nothing. It just feels like something you would naturally decide upon. And that's kind of the purpose of this whole entire section, is that everything feels like you're choosing to do something, but you're actually just following a path, even though there are multiple paths, which is another selling point of this game, is that unlike the first 3 games where you follow a direct route and there's not branching paths, this one you can take multiple paths to get to your final destination. It's not an open world in a sense, but it is something different than the norm of just playing at one piece. You can explore, but not in the sense that you would in like an RPG or anything in that sense. Definitely one of the things I can't say about this game is the action set pieces are just as brilliant as in the first 3 games, including the second one.
Nathan Drake raced a madman and his entire army to the steps of Shambhala.
Jesus.
This is the final scene where Nathan Drake fights.
Come on, we can get out of here together.
Fuck, I almost forgot his name. Is it Rake? I think it's Rake. Rafe. There we go. Fucking.
Stop.
Yeah, Rafe. I'm a fucking dum-dum.
You know, I shot the man who told me that.
It was a pretty great scene,
You don't
though.
like me very much.
You know, for all your greatness, Nate, you have nothing. You are.
Sorry, I'm so snuffly. I'm just kind of stuffed up. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you guys some set pieces, some parts of the game that I find interesting. and then I'm going to give you my overall review from a 1 out of 10, basically. I'm not going to do too much for this video. Basic, simple stuff, just me voicing over some scenes is all it's going to be. And I'm hoping for some feedback, see what you guys think. I would say that this game is worth your money. If you have a I would honestly say that this game is worth getting a PS4 for. It really is. If you have an Xbox, I recommend you get this game. Quantum Break has nothing on this. This is a very damn good game. I wouldn't say it's a perfect game. There are some flaws, there are some issues, but overall, it's worth it to buy a whole new system. And that is what a lot of other people are saying as well. Storyline, great. The storyline is got you hooked in the entire time. It does kind of feel like this last bit, like when I was recording it, you could tell. I was just like, oh my god, when is this gonna end? When am I gonna get to the end of this? It felt like it dragged on a bit towards the end there. Even though some of it did seem, you know, it was pretty nice set pieces, but it felt like some of the battling and the fighting was kind of pointless. So this scene's intense. Probably one of the best scenes in the game. And one of the best things about this game is the fact that when you're playing the game, it doesn't change from cutscene to actual gameplay. There's almost no differentiation between the two that I can tell. Maybe a slight difference, but like in that section right there, they just go straight into it. And you can't even really tell that they manipulated the footage at all, because it looks beautiful. That's one of the best things about this game, is just it looks great. It really does. And if you're into like really pretty graphics and a really decent storyline, Naughty Dog will never disappoint you. The only problem is that you have to get a PlayStation to play them, which I've always had PlayStation since 1999. I've always had PlayStation. Always been a person to play on PlayStation, and I do PC as well. But one of my favorite things to play on is the PlayStation. I've had the PlayStation 1, I had the PlayStation 2, I've had the PlayStation 3, and now I have a PS4. I had it since they first released it. And that is not something that is ever going to change. Oh, that's a good part of the game.
You know what, Nate? Underneath all the bravado, you're just a sad little boy with delusions of grandeur. Who, by the way, can't fence for shit. So long, Nathan Drake.
Nathan!
Don't know to give up. That's don't hand it to me. I had everything handed to me on a goddamn silver platter. I earned this. All of it.
You want the treasure, Raven? It's all yours.
Oh, fuck. Splat. I'm surprised I didn't see any blood there, because that dude would have been fucking paste. Holy shit. This is the actual intro of the game that I recorded here. As far as intros go, I'd say it's the most powerful intro since the second game, since the train scene where you're hanging off the edge of a mountain on a train. It is intense. It is a beautiful opening. It shows all the graphic capabilities and everything in just one simple go. Also, it's a very decent introduction to the combat, the gameplay mechanics, the camera angles, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, just very pretty, like beyond belief. And yeah, if it seems like I'm kind of gliding through these sections, it's probably because I've played the game like 2 times, and this is the 3rd time doing all of the set pieces on this, so the fact that I'm gliding through them is basically the reason why. As far as does it seem like this game was unnecessary, with the fact that they've had 3 already and this is the 4th one coming right after The Last of Us. And another question, a very good question, is does it hold up against some of their other titles like The Last of Us? And I would say with 100% certainty that this is on par, if not slightly below, The Last of Us, as far as graphic capabilities go, and all that kind of good stuff. Maybe not the combat. Storyline is a little bit below that, but I honestly think that The Last of Us was probably one of the best games that's been released in the past decade, maybe even. So this is on par with it on some levels, especially graphic capabilities. Not as good storyline, but damn fucking close. Very, very close as far as what I would compare the storyline to. Because as far as stories go, this was a good one. This was probably my favorite. As far as like closeness to me, like I've played the Uncharted games since the very first one. So I'm very attached to this series. It was one of the first ones that I did on my channel after Shovel Knight because I am in love with these games. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous, and I was excited to play this game since I started doing YouTube. Actually, I've been excited to play this game since it very first came out. That they were going to be releasing this game, and I've said before that Naughty Dog does it right. They figured out that, you know, this deadline is not going to work for us. This deadline's going to cause us to release a subpar game, and they pushed back their release time for this game twice before releasing it. And I applaud that, because where you've got people like EA and Battlefield where they release the game too early, like Battlefront, and just have a complete shit show of a mess as far as like games go. Battlefront was a fucking shit show, and it was because they cut everything. They didn't have a single player campaign. They didn't have jack shit. And here we go to the section where it shows his home life, and this was a very emotional part where you kind of see, you know, Drake's dealing with going to a normal life. It's very, 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 maybe not as touching as the very end of the game, but it shows that, you know, this is kind of in his nature. He's an adventure-seeking adrenaline junkie, kind of. And I think that's a very, very good portion of it, of the game, is just him seeking the thrill. He does a lot of this for his brother, but I think that when it comes down to it, Drake is an adventure seeker, and there are people like that, and that's not just something that you can just give up. And he definitely didn't give up on it. And this part is just like, just funny to me. But as I was saying, comparative to the other games, I would say this is probably my favorite. Simply because the ending felt good. The ending felt like it was worthwhile.
I'll be right there.
And if I'm just gonna spoil it. He has a kid. You kind of get to see what he does in the future, which is he is still an adventurer, but he does everything legally. Is basically the gist of it. And I think that is a very good ending point for the game itself, as far as the storyline of Nathan Drake. If they were to come back to it and do maybe a story about her daughter or something along those lines, somebody in his family, or even Sam or Sully, like a game about them, I would be perfectly on board with that. If this is the end of Uncharted, I think they did so in a very good fashion. Most Naughty Dog games don't go out and go past 3 games. This is actually the first one where they've made a 4th full title. Because of course you have Crash Bandicoot Team Racing and Jak and Daxter, the racing game they put out. I don't remember the name of that one, but those were 4th games, but they weren't large launch titles, and they didn't connect with the main story as far as cohesiveness. It was basically just like a Mario Party type deal, where they wanted to imitate a little bit off of what Mario Kart was. This is their first 4th release title that I know of. That was actually, a continuation of a storyline that they had in the production cycle. And it's great. It's a good game. I'm glad they made it. I think this is a good ending point for the game. And I'm very excited to see what Naughty Dog comes up with next. Whether or not they go through with the next Last of Us or they come up with a whole new IP. That would be perfectly fine with me as well.
Brilliant stuff.
Love the banner between these two.
Early 21st century truck. We got, apparently the natives called it a semi.
Oh dear Lord.
So, boring stuff. Tell me about the article.
Well, it started out as this fluff piece about tourism in Bangkok, but I don't think the magazine is going to like the angle that I'm taking, because everyone immediately commented
His
about
mind's
how
going to start to
brutal
wander.
smog was, that it's like
He wants to take that job. He wants to go back to that life, but he's just trying to. I don't know what he's thinking. That's a big problem I've had with this whole thing is it ends and everybody just forgives him for the fucked up shit that he does, instead of showing some semblance of reality where everybody would be pissed off at him for abandoning his life and then treating his friends like shit and his wife like shit. Especially since it's apparent that it's not just about Sam. He also craves adventure and thrills. That's the Uncharted series in a whole. It's just him seeking a thrill. It's not even about the treasure. It's about the excitement of finding something, of going through history and seeing everything. It's
different state, but yeah, you were in a ballpark.
in a way, he's like a historian.
Jameson asked you about that Malaysia job again.
Yes, he did.
Look, Nate, I really think that you should take it.
You know what? I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Really? I mean, he doesn't
I
have
don't
the
believe you,
promise.
Drake. Why are you gonna fucking lie to me like that?
That kind of work anymore. It's just not worth it.
It doesn't
Oh, another reason I added this section in here is because they play Crash Bandicoot, and I fucking love that game. If there's one game that reminds me of my childhood, well, first it's actually going to be Sonic from the Sega Genesis, because that was my first console, was a Sega Genesis. After that, it's going to be Crash Bandicoot. I played the shit out of that game when I was growing up. Mainly the second one. I really didn't play the first one almost at all. And the third one I kind of played, but not really.
Let me try to earn it or something. Let me play you for it.
And it's amazing to see how far Naughty Dog has gone. From a company that made Crash Bandicoot to making huge set pieces like Uncharted and The Last of Us. And it's a great little Easter egg in the game. And I'm in love with this game. I know I'm gushing. It sounds like I'm gushing and I'm gonna give this game a perfect 10. I'm not gonna give this game a perfect 10 because there are flaws, there are glitches. The multiplayer is sour, not that great. I've played maybe about 5 hours to the multiplayer, and it's pretty lame. But that's not something that Uncharted's really known for, but it's going to drive down the score altogether because that is a selling point for the game. I also did a live stream a little while back. I'm recording this after I did the live stream about a couple days ago on Wednesday. But by the time this comes out, it'll probably be a whole month after that. I also found out that I think it's completely impossible to beat this level, beat her score the first time around. I think you have to beat it once you're playing as their daughter, because you need the 3 lives altogether in order to actually get past the certain point range that you need to be at. But this video is going to be winding up to a close here shortly. If you made it this far, I'm glad you waited this long for my honest opinion on the game. Is this better than the other Uncharted games? I think it is. I think it is a good game. I think it's a great game. The combat's not as good. There are stealth options, though, which is different from the other games. The stealth was kind of omitted as soon as somebody found you. That just sucks. But the fact that the actual hand-to-hand combat has decreased in intricacies since the third game kind of turned me off. The weapon options are not there. They've got like a very small number of options. There's not a fucking silenced pistol. That pissed me the fuck off. That doesn't make any sense with a game that's almost centrally focused around stealth combat now. So all those issues, some minor bugs, which really don't drive down the score, because as far as games go, this has very few bugs. I'm going to give it a score of an 8 out of 10.
Is that it?
And to me, that is a damn good score. That is up there. I don't know any game that I've ever played that is a perfect 10. This is an 8 because it is a damn good game. I don't want you to think any less of it because it's an 8. I've played games that I liked that are 5s, in my opinion. I'm very critical of games and stuff like that. Romantic.
Yeah, of course.
But anyway, that's gonna do it for this review. I give it a solid 8 out of 10, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya.